Okay, so one of the things that has okay, so one of the things that people have been asking about is this line of character. This how long can the line be? There's a bit of confusion about that. So what I want to do is I want to use this opportunity to explain that better, so maybe you guys can understand how this works. This is not an official meeting. You don't have to be here for this. I'm just using this as a way to record this for you to watch. Anyway, let me just go ahead and share my screen on this so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. Let's see. Let's go screen 1. Okay. All right. So I have JGrasp here. I also have IntelliJ. I also have NetBeans as well. So this is so that for those of you who are using these different IDEs, you can know how to do this with the 80 character limit. Okay. So in the assignment, what it said was that you needed to have 100 characters of text on a line, but it could only be, each of the lines of code can only be 80 characters. So how do you do that? You might be asking. Well, basically what it means is that I need to be able to print out onto a single line of output, 100 characters rather, but this thing can only be 80 characters long. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can either, instead of using the print line command, you could use the print command, right? The print method. And then that way this will print, and then immediately on the same line, this will print, and then a new line will happen. Okay, so that's one option. Another would be to just go to the next line, use the plus sign, and do some more text. Okay, so that's the simple solution. That's what I want you guys to do with that. But you might be saying, well, how do you expect me to count all the characters in the line? Like go from the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, you don't have to do that. So let's start with this one that I have open, the NetBeans one. Notice this red line here that I have here. That tells me where the 80 character limit is. And you can tell where the 80 character limit is by this right down here, okay? What this tells me is what line I'm on and what column I'm on, how many characters I've done it. So notice if I put this way back at the beginning here, I'm on line 3 in the first character position, line 3 in the first character position. So if I go to the end, notice as I go forward one by one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to the end tells me I'm at the 72 character position, which means at this point I have 71 characters on this line. Okay, so what happens if you go above that 80 character limit? Notice here I've done 80. I'm at the 81st position. If you go above that, you simply go to the next line. Okay, you need to use the next line, but basically you cannot go beyond this red line, and that's in NetBeans. Not all the IDEs have this fun little red line, as we'll see in a second, right? But NetBeans does give us that nice feature that tells us where our code can end. One thing you also might want to consider is find out where that 80th character position is. Drag your window so that it's right there, so that you know I should only be able to put characters on the screen that I can see. Okay, so that's NetBeans. Let's look at IntelliJ. Okay, notice IntelliJ, no red line, unfortunately, but in the same way, if I look down here in the bottom down here, same thing. Line that I'm on, character that I'm at, right? Line that I'm on, character that I'm at. So if I go up to 80, right? So I'm in 81, right? So this is the 80th character right here, right? 80 characters, which going to do again, just drag that window to where now I know I cannot go beyond that spot. Okay. Finally, the one that I've used in class, and you'll see again, unfortunately, no fun red line, but just like the others, let me show you down here, tells me what line I'm at and what column I'm at, how many characters I've done. So what I can do, if I find out where the 81st character is, right? So that means everything before that is 80 characters, right? Because the first position is column 1. The last position being 81 means that there's 80 characters before this. You can drag that window to make it that size, and you say, I'm not going beyond the edge of this window. Okay, so that's how you do only 80 characters on a line of code, and you make sure that you don't go beyond that. Okay, but again, the line of text output, however, needs to be 100 lines, 100 characters. So if I compile this, and run it, okay. If I compile that and run it, right here, this, if I were to copy this into a text editor and count the characters in this, I would see this is far short of 100, which means I did not do what the assignment asked me to do for that. Okay. Oh, by the way, this 80 character limit on a line of code, that's not just for this assignment. That is for all the code that you will write for this class. That's your labs, that's your assignments, that's everything that you will do for this class. Okay, I hope this clears things up for some of you. I hope this is understood and that it helps you with figuring out how to do the assignment. Okay, all right. Thanks for those of you who did join. You weren't required to. This is not a class period, but it was just something to help you understand how it's a confusing thing about the assignment. All right. Kalai Gelson, and I'll see you next week.